Modern dance is what it is. This is what today's deep present can be expressed in. This cannot be said through folk stage dance. This cannot be said through ballet art, but through modern dance that lives in each of us. Modern dance is so variable. If you look at the map of the whole world, everything happens there. Of course, everyone can go onto stage, but what he wants to say through it is another matter. So education is necessary everywhere. The unifying and transforming power of dance in the performances of Ukrainian and Polish choreographers at the Space of Dance Festival and in Pro Art. SOS is short for Messages for Conscious Speculation. This is the first work where is a lot of text. We really hope that it'll turn out good. We came from Poland with the play Batai and the Dawn of New Days. Eroticism is, of course, an important element of this performance. I love to take part in co-production, assist in organizing events like this. The Ukrainian Space of Dance Festival is part of a large Polish project called Territory of Choreography, which has been running since 2016 and covers Central and Eastern Europe. One of the days at the festival in Kiev could rightly have been called Evening of Masterpieces. This is the best work. One of the best works I have seen lately in Poland is Batai and the Dawn of New Days, and the work SOS, Messages of Conscious Speculation, by the duet Buchok Art Family, staged by the St. Petersburg choreographer Alexander Andriyashkin. SOS is really a modern dance. It poses questions to the world and first and foremost itself. Very good, intelligible dialogue with the audience. Dancer Alina Buchok is certain that in a modern dance performance, an artist can prove himself not only as a choreographer, but also as a dramatic actor. In addition to modern dance, we use a lot of text in the performance. But we're not theater actors, we're dancers, performers, choreographers. We will exist on the scene. I cannot even call it acting. It will be us. We hear SOS, SOS. It means that someone is dying and crying for help. How could it be anything else? Ukrainian dance duet Buchok Art Family dissected the possibilities of this signal in a broader sense. At some points, this is the very SOS. These are the very signals for help. From those heroes, from those characters in whom we will reincarnate. There is a place for speculation too, but in general, we're about good, about light. It's not that we cry for help, we just share some of our experience and situations from life. There is everything. There is laughter, sadness, sorrow, joy.
Человек танцующий в умирающий вид, и он привык платить за возможность потанцевать. Обратите внимание, он делает это, как в последний раз.
In fact, there are a lot of inner things, some kind of specific questions that probably concern people of art and people associated with modern dance. But there are enough questions that the viewers should ask themselves. How do we speculate? There are two people on stage, husband and wife, who are entangled in concepts, have forgotten what makes a proper dance different from their own, and they start the performance. They send SOS signals to each other, but at the same time, they constantly engage viewers in this game. The performance was staged specifically for us. Not only is it a man and a woman, we're husband and wife in life. And it was used by the choreographer in the making. These are certain situations, stories that occur in the life of everyone. Every person, every spectator finds something for himself in this performance. Everything is fair, because in contemporary art, in modern dance, this is an important feature. It is honesty and the present moment. There is one question there. When the phrase recalls some very sad story in your life, for example, when a loved one died, is heard. This is the kind of speculation that touches everybody and is very clear and close. That's why all of this is self-irony, and in the end, it all boils down to it, so as to be freer and to treat such topics in an easier manner. Following the modern trend, the dancers presented a play with components of dramatic act. Director Alexander Andreyashkin sought to find a balance between the plastic and the word. This is his manner now, his kind of path, as it were, which he's currently treading. He stages many such works, which also involve text. It was so risky for us, and we went into it. A dance echoes the text, and the text goes into the dance. And now, this is full-fledged action. There is such a problem that the audience does not always understand what contemporary dancers or performances actually want to say. There are difficulties in this.
Искусство перестает быть искусством, как только наше сознание начинает воспринимать его как искусство.
And the artists believe that the text helps, in this case, to express the meaning and the most important task of the dance performance to the audience. In fact, this colloquial speech is quite difficult for a dancer, but we reveal this text, and all the time we're looking for some deep message and presentation in it for the audience.
Я предлагаю, чтобы каждый взял свой мобильный телефон и написал этому человеку одно простое сообщение.
Both in a drama performance and in a dance performance, it is important to find contact with the audience, which sometimes is not easy to do. Alina and Vyacheslav Buchok succeeded, so the premiere was successful. We work with the audience as if in real time. This is quite difficult. This is important because otherwise, indeed, all of it loses a little sense. This is felt when there is contact. At such moments, it's always laughter that saves you. The performance is about speculation. It does not say whether this is a good or bad thing. It merely asks a question, draws attention to this fact. And I like the fact that it contains a good, subtle sense of humor.
Давай проверим. Может ли искусство приносить пользу?
In the Polish dance theater, most of the work is on projects. They gather teams from either Polish dancers or from around the world. It's always difficult because the same is true in the project that you see today, Batai. There is no permanent team there. The audience must be taught to accept the results of the search for modern dance. We must bring up its tastes and an understanding of drama, but also not to turn contemporary in consumer goods, says Polish director Slavik Krawczynski. Obviously, modern dance is not as popular as drama theater, for example. We need to realize that not everything should be massive, not everything should be very popular, but everything should make sense, because here we learn from each other. We study different aspects of human existence. And the choreographer of the Lublin Dance Theater, Ryszard Kalinowski, is certain festivals and various joint projects are very important in this undertaking. Relations with Ukrainian dancers, choreographers, and the contemporary dance community began in earnest a few years ago. And this project, the Territory of Choreography, is the next step forward that develops our relationship, our cooperation, and all the project's participants are pleased to have the opportunity to come to Kiev. And not only to Kiev, because we were also in Dnipro. Modern dance art in Poland is constantly looking for non-linear responses to changes in society. In the opinion of Polish creators, to be unorthodox means to be at the forefront. Avant-garde does not necessarily mean something marginal. This is what prepares us for different awareness, which leads us to different thinking, less massive of course. Avant-garde has always been about it, about responding to what is taking place in the modern world, even a little about advancing modern life. I really like the concept with which they work. All this concept of dreams, this surrealism, because every dream is probably a borderline state. In fact, this metaphysicality in performances, in the theater and in dance is very close to me. And sometimes it gives me more sense than the performers and choreographers themselves placed there. Georges Bataille is a French philosopher, the founder of postmodernism, famous for the study and understanding of the irrational aspects of social life. His ideas, for example, on the temptation of evil are still alive. Modern-day Polish choreographers have found an extraordinary artistic form for their realization. Our goal was to seize upon the most important threads of meaning found in the texts of Georges Bataille, his thinking, which continues to live in Europe. These thoughts, despite being written in the last century, have something in common with our reality all of the time. If we pay attention to what the modern world is, how much violence there is, how often we cannot cope with our own human energy, then from this perspective, Bataille opens as one of the greatest contemporary philosophers and thinkers. 6 dancers challenge the viewer and themselves, turn into the world of Georges Bataille. He leads everyone there, where stormy emotions merge into one. When we dance, we jump into the void. We plunge into the dark mystery of erotica until we meet with the world of the holiday of kings and gods. Eroticism is, of course, an important element of this performance, since Bataille was a thinker who concentrated sufficiently on this phenomenon. The dance clearly expresses the subtle, dramatic nature of Bataille's thoughts and tries to answer his key question: can we be reborn? The apparent chaos of what is happening on stage is a well-structured and thoughtful way of expressing the writer's philosophy. In dance, there is a collision of radically opposed categories. They are unstable, but also inextricably connected. At the same time, it is worth paying attention to the fact that erotic relationships are part of a certain energy, which in the case of people we can observe as under a magnifying glass. It can be said that if these impulses find their own embodiment, harmony, it will calm the whole world. According to Slavek Kravchinsky, if there is a need to calm and unite the world, make it better, art can do it much faster and more effectively than politics. We must determine where the impulse comes from that generates so much destruction. Still, it seems to me that art has brought more good to the world than politics. Politics is too often guided by the usual pragmatics. Polish choreographers believe that the main feature of modern dance is its openness to dialogue, the mood for co-creation. They invited people from different regions, schools, regardless of styles, in order to perform together. In the world of modern dance, we try to overcome the boundaries of different types of art. Here in the play Bataille, a musician is involved. Creating live music, creating an atmosphere is very significant. In this sense, modern dance is unusually democratic. It has many sources and each of them is on equal terms. Regardless of age, physique, everybody is looking for the only possible way, without pretending, to express oneself and what interests him. This is what a modern dance is. So in this, we are authentic and true. We are who we are and what is given to us at this moment in life. And we speak through this body at this moment. Joint creative projects are necessary for both the artists themselves and for the audience in different countries. After all, art helps people to understand each other more deeply. I look forward to meeting new audiences, waiting for performances in new places, because it is part of our own creativity. We want to share art with other people, ask them, do they understand? Does our work interest them? It turns out that we must make certain efforts too, intellectual, sometimes physical, in order to find mutual understanding with another viewer. It is difficult, but very significant, because it also develops us. In Ukraine, modern dance sounds more and more like a self-sufficient kind of plastic art, but openness and willingness to communicate with European colleagues gave domestic choreography a powerful impetus for creativity and the birth of new forms. This is great experience. This is a definite promise for new ideas. Indeed, some sort of cooperation may emerge out of the blue. My own expectations are that what we do together develops, so that we have the opportunity to work, meet, Visit other places, show the best that we have to others.
Po prostu mamy w sobie najlepszego.
In order for this type of art to develop, other branches must develop as well. We're not isolated from other types of art. So it's probably very important here that the state helps to work with the context and work with people, with their consciousness and critical thinking. This time, for the first time, thanks to the Ukrainian Cultural Foundation, we received state support, including for holding this festival. It is clear that only enthusiasts have managed to survive in this field. We will be able to move Ukrainian contemporary dance further, including on the international art market.